9.
Welcome back. Few people likely know about the first assassination attempt on former President John F. Kennedy back in 1960, before he was even inaugurated, and how it almost changed the course of American history. Now, a new book is bringing this story to light. Best-selling author Brad Meltzer joins us now live to talk about his new book. It's called The JFK Conspiracy: The Secret Plot to Kill Kennedy and Why It Failed. Brad, good morning. Welcome to Detroit.
Good to be back. Listen, as a Michigan grad who just gave the commencement address, this is the interview I'm looking forward to all day.
Thank you. I know we get excited to talk to you too. We're so glad that you can squeeze us in. Let's talk about this book, because you talk about the assassination of JFK. Everyone goes to the one that actually was successful. How did we not know about this really in great detail until you wrote the book?
Yeah, so let's paint the full picture. It is Sunday morning, and it's 3 years before Lee Harvey Oswald takes his famous shot. And JFK is on his way to church. What he doesn't know is that there's an assassin named Richard Pavlik, a former postal worker, who wants to kill him. And he's got 7 sticks of dynamite in his car to do it. So he's followed JFK to Palm Beach, Florida. He thinks the security's weakest there. He's right about that. And as JFK comes out of his house, all this assassin has to do is push the little trigger, and boom, will go the dynamite. And what saves his life that day has to do with Jackie. I won't ruin the ending, but it's one of the craziest JFK stories you've never heard. But like you said, why do you not know it? Because on the day that it happened, the next day there was a plane crash where 2 planes collided over New York City. And as a result, America became obsessed with the one boy who survived the crash, the sole survivor. And as a result, this JFK story got pushed from the front page to the footnotes of history. And we decided, Josh Mensch and I, that maybe this is a story we should put into a book and tell America.
Wow, how intriguing. Yes, timing is everything, right? So what made you say this is not a singular event? What made you say this needs to be a book and a story told in what critics are saying just gripping detail?
I appreciate that. You know, for us, it's the 1960 election really resembles where we are right now. Country is bitterly divided. Whatever side you're on, you think the other side are complete and utter morons. Does that sound familiar to you?
It sure does.
And the other thing that really struck us was Jackie Kennedy, who's so fascinating, so amazing. And we don't pull punches. We document and show you JFK's affairs. We show you when Jackie was giving birth, that she was hemorrhaging, and JFK's nowhere to be found. He's on his way to Florida on a plane. And I kept saying to myself, why did they call this place Camelot? We all know that we use the word Camelot. And I discovered this, is that Camelot isn't used until after JFK is killed. It's after the actual assassination that Jackie grants one interview to Life magazine. And she tells the reporter this exclusive story, that when JFK's back was hurting back in the White House when he was alive, and he was in real pain, the way she'd calm him down is putting on a record from his favorite play, and it was about a place called Camelot. And we forget that Jackie was a member of the press. She was hounded by the press, but we know for sure she's a master of the press. She's the one who inserts that word Camelot into the lexicon, writing JFK's legacy before anyone else can. And my wife said the Jackie scenes in this book, they're her favorite. If you love Jackie or history, you're going to love this book. Oh, my gosh, yes. We have always been as fascinated with her, I think, as we have with him. And even on the day that he was actually assassinated, the imagery of her. What does it say about, what do we learn about understanding the mind of this man who attempted to kill Kennedy on this day before his inauguration? Does that also give us is that a reflection of our country at the time? Sure. You know, I spoke to the Secret Service about this, asked them that question. And the Secret Service divides presidential assassins into 2 categories. There's hunters and there's howlers. And a howler makes a lot of noise, says, I'm coming to get you, I want to kill the president. But they rarely take action. A hunter, though, is very different. And a hunter rarely says a word, but they're the ones who tend to pull the trigger. And if you look at the presidential assassins who have successfully killed U.S. presidents, from Abraham Lincoln to JFK, all 4 of them are hunters. And Richard Pavlik in this book, he really is, he thinks he's a hunter, but he's got a little bit of a howler in him, and he's got a big mouth, and he tells the wrong person what he's doing. It's one of the reasons that it disrupts and twists the whole plan.
Wow, so interesting. Brad, a couple of things that I know we got to go. First of all, does this prompt you to do more digging, or perhaps you already know about the conspiracies that still live surrounding the actual assassination of JFK?
Yeah, no, of course. Listen, we end the book and we dive into that assassination too. You can't just do one. And if you want to know who killed JFK, I'll leave you with this.
Yes.
If you look in the 60s, when JFK was shot, who did we blame? It was the Cold War. We blamed the enemies at the time. It was the Soviets. It was the Cubans that did it. If you look in the 70s, as Watergate peaked and we had mistrust for the government, who killed JFK? It was our own government did it. It was an inside job. The CIA did it. LBJ did it. If you look in the 80s, when the Godfather movies peak, who killed JFK? It was the mob. So decade by decade, if you want to know who killed JFK, it's whoever America is most afraid of at that moment in time. And JFK's and his assassination has always been a mirror.
Oh, that's interesting. You rooting for our Lions this weekend?
Come on, I went to Michigan. Of course I got to root for the Lions.
Very good. Just checking.
We have to win. We have to bring it home.
All right. Very good. Very good. Brad, it's always so fun to talk to you, and it's always just so inspiring to read your books. So thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, and go Blue.
Yeah. Very good. Go Lions.
The Lions are getting one day closer to